Let us solve some numerical based on these topics. Consider a 2-pole 50 Hz 11 kV turbo alternator has the rating of 100 megawatt, power factor 0.85 lagging. The rotor has a moment of 10,000 kg meter square. We need to calculate M and H. So let us consider the solution. The MVA rating of the generators, that is nothing but G value is equal to 100 divided by 0.85. Because it is given in the megawatt, we need to convert it into MVA rating. So that's why we need to consider the power factor. So you'll get MVA value. And also we know that the GH value, kinetic energy, is equal to half I omega square, where I value already given, that it is 10,000, omega is equal to 2 pi f 50, okay, 100 pi radian per second. So hence already we know that G value is 117.65 MVA rating. So therefore what we'll get is, substitute these values, we'll get the value of H is equal to 41.9 megajoule per MVA rating. And also we know that M is equal to GH by 180F. Substitute that G into H value. Okay, G value is 117.65 and H value is 4.9. Okay, and the frequency is 50, so we'll get 0.0548 megajoule second per electrical degree. Consider a turbo generator 6-pole 50 Hz of the capacity 80 megawatt working at 0.8 power factor has an inertia of 10 megajoule per MVA. Calculate energy stored in the rotor at synchronous speed. Second condition is find the rotor acceleration if the mechanical input is suddenly rise to 75 megawatt for an electrical load of 60 megawatt, means earlier it is 60, now rise to 75. So suppose the above acceleration which is maintained for a duration for 6 cycle, calculate the change torque angle and the rotor speed at the end of the 6 cycles. So let us consider that the first one, calculate the energy stored in the rotor at a synchronous speed. We know that energy stored in the rotor is equal to G into H. So G is nothing but 80 megawatt at a 0.8 power factor. So this is 80 divided by 0.8. Okay, H value is 10 megajoule per MVA rating. So we'll get 1000 megajoule. The second one is we need to calculate what is the accelerating power. So already we know that there is a change in the load from 60 megawatt to 75 megawatt. Okay, so that is nothing but PA is equal to 75 minus 60. So I'll get 15 megawatt is equal to M into D square delta divided by dt square. Already we know that with the help of the swing equation. Okay, PA is equal to M into D square delta divided by dt square. Substitute those values G into H and the frequency. So I'll get M value is 0.111 megajoule second per electrical degrees. So that is nothing but we'll get 0.111 d square delta divided by dt square is equal to 15. So we know that angular acceleration, that is alpha, consider it is d square delta divided by d square is equal to, so that is 15 divided by 0.11, we will get 135 electrical degree per second square. Okay, so then we know that d square delta divided by dt square is equal to alpha into t. So integrating 2 times we will get delta value is equal to half alpha into t square, means with different integration with respect to t value. Okay, so integration of t, we know that double integration, so we'll get t square. Okay, t square by 2. So this is half alpha into t square value. So corresponding to the 6 cycles, okay, for the considering for 50 hertz cycle. So 60 out of 50 you will get 0.12 second. So there is a change in delta at the end of the 6th cycle is equal to half. This is means we are substituting that value, okay, with respect to this equation, that is delta is equal to half alpha into t square. So alpha value is 135, t value is 0.12. So we'll get, substituting after doing substitution, that will get 0.97 electrical degrees. So these values means the angular acceleration in electrical degree per second is converted to the units to the value of the RPM per second as follows. So that is nothing but delta is equal to 60 into 135 divided by 2 into 360. So that is nothing but how do we got that? Okay, so that is nothing, means we are converting on a base for the electrical degrees to the RPM values. So we'll get 11.25 RPM per second, means we are converting into second. Okay, so this rotor speed after the 6 cycles correspond to the 0.12 second. You will get, so 120 into 50 divided by 6. So that is nothing but, so consider that this part is nothing but 120 F. Okay, this is 120 F by P. Okay, so this is P plus, okay, 11.25 is nothing but the delta, okay, for the acceleration plus the t, okay, the time which is correspond to that, means it's not the plus value, it is, okay, multiplication here, okay, delta into t. So 120 F by P plus delta into t will get, so 120 F by P is nothing but P value 6, so we'll get 1000. So 11.25 correspond to 0.1 second, will get 0.12 second, will get 1.35. So this is the new RPM which is set after there is a load changes from 60 megawatt to 75 megawatt. So you can observe here, so this is supposed to be operated at 1000 RPM, but it is went up to 1001.35, so that it can able to attain the new required mechanical input for the turbo alternator or the synchronous generator. Consider the next numerical, that is 60 Hz 4-pole turbo generator rated 500 MVA, 22 kV, has an inertia constant of H is equal to 7.5 megajoule per MVA. Find first one, that is Ke, kinetic energy stored in the rotor at a synchronous speed. Second one is angular acceleration if the electrical power develops 400 megawatt when there is input minus rotational losses is 740 kilo horsepower. Okay, let us consider the first one, which is kinetic energy, which is the expression G into H. G value is directly given, it is in terms of MVA. Okay, H value is 7.5, so we will get 3050 mega joules. So the angular acceleration, that is d square delta divided by dt square, can be found using with the help of the swing equation, that is gh by 180 f d square delta divided by d square is equal to pm minus pe. So in this case, the electrical power which is develops is equal to 400 megawatt, and the mechanical power is 740 horsepower, okay, converted into megawatt. So we'll get multiplied by 746, we will get 552.04 megawatt. So hence we need to calculate what is the d square delta divided by dt square, that is the angular acceleration. After substituting these values, we will get 437.8 electrical degree per second square. Next concept is power angle equation of synchronous machine. The fundamental factor in rotor angle stability is the in which the power output of the synchronous machine varies as their rotor angle changes. It means that the equation which is relating the electrical power generated to the angular displacement of the rotor is called as power angle equation. So that is nothing but the power which is B denoted and the rotor angle acceleration is delta. The formation of the power angle equation is very important in the case of stability studies. So we know that based on the rotor construction, there are the two types of synchronous machine. Okay. So that is nothing but the first one is the salient pole machine. So in the case of salient machine, has the number of the projecting poles for having the field coils. So hence there is air gap is not uniform along the rotor periphery. So it is least along the axis of the main poles, means generally it is denoted as direct axis, and the maximum along the axis of the interpole region, it is called as quadrature axis. So hence the flux linkages are not uniform. So correspondingly, this machine which is going to offers the D axis reactance and the Q axis reactance for the flow of armature current. So in the case of non-salient pole type synchronous machine, the rotor consisting of cylindrical structures having number of slots at regular intervals along the outer periphery of the cylinder for accommodating the field coils. Here the air gap is uniform along the rotor periphery and hence the flux linkages in D axis and Q axis are equal. So we have that xs is equal to xd is equal to xq. So practically all high-speed turbo alternators are of cylindrical in construction. So let us consider the power angle equation for the both the type of the synchronous generators. Okay, so this is the simple single phase equivalent reactance diagram for non-salient pole type synchronous generators. Okay, consider the first one, that is the power angle equation for non-salient pole type synchronous machine. Okay, these are the nomenclature which is going to be used. So E is generated voltage in the machine which is having the phase angle of delta. Okay, delta is nothing but there is a load angle or the torque angle, or generally consider that it is the power angle. So this xs is nothing but synchronous reactance of the machine, and this is et. Okay, this is the value of t. Okay, et is nothing but the voltage at the terminal of the machine. There is an angle which we are considering that at this point is theta value. Okay, the angle which is made is theta degree, and xc is nothing but the reactance of the transmission line. Okay, this portion, and the v is nothing but the voltage at infinite bus, means generally the terminal voltage is considered as the reference, and the current which is flowing is nothing but the load current. So let us suppose that machine which is operating for lagging power factor, that is the load current which is lags with respect to the infinite bus voltage, that is V value. Okay, so V is at a reference, the current which is lagging. Okay, so here you can see to that there is an angle between the V and I is nothing but this is the value of phi. Okay, and the angle between V and E is nothing but the generated voltage is the theta value. Okay, and how we need to draw this important thing is take V as the reference. Okay, and because assuming that the value, the angle between I and ET is at an angle of 90°, the current which is lagging, so hence this is perpendicular to that this is perpendicular at an angle of 90°. The angle which is makes here in this portion is 90°. Okay, between I and excess value. So V, so next we have ET, combined together we will get the value of E. Okay, so before E we have, this is nothing but the XE and XS value. So here this is the XS and this is XE value. Okay, so combined together it is V ET, so together we'll get the value of E. So from this, the phasor diagram, we can write it as nothing but E is equal to V plus whatever the drop we have, I into XS plus XE. So we need to calculate what is the value of I. I is equal to E minus V divided by J XS plus XE. Okay, then the net power developed by the machine, which is given as P is equal to R is nothing but the reactive power, so that is nothing but real power. Okay, so V into I conjugate. So in this our equation we know that what is I value, okay, real power, E minus V, J into XS plus XE. So we know that what is the E value, E is operating at an angle of delta and V is at 0. Okay, and the J value, that we know that it is at an angle of 90°. Okay, V is a reference. So what we'll get, so this minus will go to that numerator and going to be plus. So look at this, this is a conjugate value, whatever the values plus is going to be minus, minus into minus will term go to past. Okay, minus into minus is another plus. Okay, because this is a real power, so we are converting on real power. So V into E delta, okay, E minus delta divided by XS plus XE, and divided by minus 90 will go to the numerator, so this 90° will become plus 90. So okay, so already we got this value conjugate. Okay, this minus 90 go to the numerator, will going to become the plus 90°. Okay, plus 90 minus delta. So here V into V square, so you'll get XS plus XE cos 90. So that is nothing but cos 0 is 1, cos 90 is, okay. So what we'll get, cos 90 minus delta is nothing but sin delta. So thus what we'll get is P is equal to V divided by XS plus XE into sin delta. So this is the equation which is subjected to a non-salient dipole type of synchronous machine. So this equation shows that the power transfer depend upon the generated voltage, that is E value, and the voltage of the bus is E, the system reactance, and the torque angle delta. So generally this equation is called as the power angle equation for subjected to a non-salient pole type of synchronous machine. So considering that there is a graphical plot showing the variation for the P and the delta value for considering of E and V, and the reactances is fixed, called as power angle curve. Okay, so you can see to that 0 and there is a maximum value at 90° and bring back to 0 at 180°. So there is the maximum power transfer at delta is equal to 90°. Then corresponding to the power equation is maximum power is equal to V into E divided by XS plus XE. So for the values, if the delta value is greater than 90°, the power output of the machine is going reduces successfully. Okay, and the finally machine become stall. So hence the machine means hence the PM at which the maximum power transfer occurs is called as steady state stability limit of the machine. Okay, the machine operation is stable in the region between 0 to 90 degree. Generally it is less than 90 degree. So this term, that is nothing but dp by dt, is called as synchronizing power coefficient or a machine stiffness. The condition, that is nothing but dp by d delta is greater than 0, is called as stability criteria. So when the triple S, that is nothing but steady state stability limit, is reached when dp by dt is equal to 0, and if dp by dt d delta is less than 0, then the system is said to be unstable. Let us derive the power angle equation for salient pole type of synchronous machine. So let us consider this figure. You might be wonder that how we drawn this. Okay, consider that there is the load which is applied onto the salient pole synchronous machine is lagging. Power factor is okay less than unity. Okay, so it means that it should lag behind the voltage. Okay, it is not strictly at 90 degree. The angle between V and I is okay because V is lagging with respect to the voltage. That's it. Okay, here, and the current I value is resolved into two components. So that is nothing but here this is okay, this is the one and this is the another one. Okay, another one. So this is nothing but we can consider it is D axis. Okay, already we know that okay, there are the two things will be existing in the case of the salient pole type of synchronous machine. This is D axis, this is Q axis. Altogether, that is the current what is flowing, the D value is nothing but ID. The current is flowing IQ as IQ. Okay, quadrature axis. Combined together we will become a resultant load current, and which is lagging with respect to the voltage. Okay, and consider that because there is a presence of direct axis reactance and the quadrature axis reactance. So here whatever the current which is considering I and the reactance for XD, which is at an angle of 90 degree. Okay, so you can observe here there is an ID with respect to XD because of the term J, which is at an angle of 90 degree. So ID and XD with respect to 90 degree will become okay, will become what is this is ID into J XD. Similarly for the term here, so we are supposed to plot at this point, means angle between IQ and the XQ should be the 90 degree. Okay, because of the J term. So shift this term here. Okay, why we wanted to shift? Because we wanted to calculate what is the resultant value. So IQ into JXQ. So combined together, okay, we'll get I into JXQ. So whole together IQ into JXQ plus ID into JXD will get the term, the value of E. E is nothing but the value of okay generated voltage for the machine. Okay, consider these are the nomenclature here. What we consider E at an angle of delta generated EMF, V is the bus bar voltage, XT is the direct axis, XQ is the quadrature axis, and the current which is delivered cos phi. So from this reference diagram, so we can write that the power developed. Okay, so P is the total power developed, V cos delta. So why it is cos delta? Because the angle between IQ and V is nothing but delta, means there is a total value, resultant value is E and V is nothing but delta. So this is nothing but the x-axis, what we consider it is cos delta. If it is here, we can see to that here it is v sine delta. This is with respect to cos, this is with respect to sine. Okay, this is VE. Okay, what we can see here means we are converting q axis and the quadrature axis all together. Look at the total power. V cos delta, what is the current which is flowing here? It is IQ. Okay, here it is V sine delta, and what is the current which is flowing is ID. So we know that IQ XQ. So here IQ and XQ is equal to V sine delta. This value here and this value combined together will get sine delta. So find out that IQ value will become V sine delta divided by XQ. Similarly, ID XD. Okay, here ID and the XD, we can write it as total power, means the total voltage is E minus V with respect to cos delta. Okay, E minus V cos delta. So you'll get ID is equal to E minus V cos delta divided by XD. Substitute these values. Okay, here consider what are the value. Here means the value of IQ and ID value. Okay, in this equation, do a simplification. So we know what is the IQ value. IQ value is nothing but V into sine delta divided by XQ, and ID is nothing but E minus V cos delta divided by XD. So here V into V is nothing but V square sine 2 delta divided by 2XQ. Okay, so how do you got this value? Okay, so that is means we are, this is subject to, means we are converting, means we are multiplying this E and the V. Okay, we will get V square sine 2 delta divided by 2 XU. This is V sine delta divided by XD, and this is minus V square sine 2 delta divided by 2 XD. Okay, so what is the common here? XQ and XD. So we'll get V square sine 2 delta divided by 2. This is 1 divided by XQ minus 1 divided by XD. Okay, do the simplification. What we'll get is VE XD sine delta plus V square sine 2 delta divided by 2 XD minus XQ divided by XD into XQ. So here this is nothing but the final equation will become P is equal to V into E XD into sine delta plus V square XD minus XQ divided by 2 into XD XQ sine 2 delta. Okay, so the first part is nothing but which is same as the round rotor, considering the x is equal to XD. So this is going to be carry the major part of the power transfer. So then next term, this term is considered as a reluctance power, which is quite small. Generally it is 10 to 20%. Okay, the power angle curve machine which is shown here. So how we need to draw this? Okay, consider that the first part of the equation, that is sine delta, which is represented by, okay, this one. Okay, this is considered 1, this is 1. Okay, then second part is nothing but we have the reluctance power. How do you say that reluctance? Because it is because of the presence of the sine 2 delta. Okay, in place of 180, it is going to complete the 2 cycles. So here we can see to that the at 90 degree it will come back to 0 because of the presence of 2. Okay, and another cycle, the negative half cycle, which is completed 180 degree. So this is nothing but we will consider as it is a reluctance power. Okay, then how to draw the resultant power? We know that this is plus, this is plus, this is plus, this is also plus, this is plus and the minus. So what will happen here, plus and plus, it is going to enhance, so you will get the value of plus. Okay, so here this is also plus into plus, but this is a magnitude which is decreasing, so it is slightly falling from peak value. Because it is a plus and the minus, so what will happen, it is reducing drastically and come back to normal and settle down at 180 degree. Okay, so this is nothing but from this figure what we can understand is that maximum power output which occurs generally it is less than 90 degree. Okay, so here you can see to that. So generally this value is less than 90 degree means it may be around 70 or less than that. So the delta at which the power flow is maximum, which can be computed by the help of the synchronizing power coefficient. So that is dp by d delta to the 0 values. Okay, so this will be made clear in the following example means. So these are all the things. Some of the numerical can be solved by with help of these equations. So this is the equation for subjected to a salient pole type of the synchronous machine.